Picture this. You're 7 months pregnant, standing in a ballroom filled with Manhattan's elite, when your husband walks to the microphone, wraps his arm around another woman, and introduces his newborn son. Not yours, hers, the mistress you've been told you were paranoid about. That's exactly what happened to Harper Montgomery. But here's where this story gets absolutely wild. Because what Harper didn't know was that her husband's betrayal wasn't just an affair. It was a calculated plan orchestrated by his billionaire mother to steal Harper's baby the moment she gave birth. They had psychiatrists ready to declare her unfit. They had a judge already paid off. They had her trapped. Or so they thought. Because Harper did something they never expected from the planner girl they thought they could discard. She documented everything, built her army, and turned their own weapons against them in the most spectacular takedown you'll ever hear. This is the true story of how a pregnant woman facing the most powerful family in New York refused to be erased. Stick with me through this one. I promise you, the revenge is chef's kiss. And if you're loving these justice stories where the underdog actually wins, hit these satisfying endings. Trust me, you're going to want to hear how this one ends. Now, let's start from the beginning. The chandeliers of the Plaza Hotel ballroom glittered above Harper Montgomery like 1,000 judging eyes. She placed one hand on her 7-month belly, steadying herself as another contraction rippled through her lower back. Not labor, the doctor had said, just Braxton Hicks. Practice contractions, her body preparing for something her heart wasn't ready for. Harper smoothed down her navy maternity dress, the one Ashton had barely glanced at when she'd modeled it that morning. He'd been on his phone texting someone, always texting someone lately. She shouldn't have come tonight. Her obstetrician had been clear about avoiding stress. But this gala was important for Ashton's position as chief financial officer at Hale Dominion, the company his family had built over 3 generations, the company that was supposed to be their future. So Harper had squeezed herself into Spanx over a baby bump, wrestled with maternity pantyhose, and convinced herself this was what supportive wives did. If that wasn't love, she didn't know what was. The ballroom buzzed with Manhattan's elite. Women in designer gowns that cost more than Harper's first car. Men in tuxedos that whispered old money. She recognized faces from Forbes covers, from charity galas she used to plan back when she had a career of her own. Back before Ashton had asked her to slow down, to focus on their growing family, to be the wife he needed. Harper scanned the crowd for her husband. 6'2", sandy blonde hair always perfectly styled, that confident smile that had first caught her attention 5 years ago at a mutual friend's wedding. She'd been coordinating the event. He'd been a groomsman who couldn't stop staring at the woman who made chaos look like choreography. She found him near the stage, under the golden spotlights. Her breath caught. Ashton's arm was wrapped around another woman's waist. Not a casual touch, not a polite escort. His hand rested possessively on her hip, the way he used to touch Harper before she got pregnant and became, in his words, too delicate. The woman was Janelle Grant. Harper recognized her immediately. The public relations consultant they'd hired last year for the company's holiday charity event. 26 years old, all glossy dark hair and practiced smiles. The woman who'd been oddly present in Ashton's text messages. The woman Harper had been told she was overthinking about. And cradled against Janelle's chest was a bundle wrapped in blue silk, a newborn baby. Harper's heart stopped. The room tilted. Sound drained away into a hollow ringing in her ears. She watched as a board member leaned toward another, whispering behind her champagne flute. Their eyes cut toward Harper, then away. Pity mixed with something darker. Schadenfreude. Someone enjoys watching the perfect wife fall apart, Harper thought distantly. Ashton stepped up to the microphone. He tapped it once, twice. The feedback squealed through the ballroom, silencing conversations. Harper tried to move toward him, but her legs had turned to concrete. Her baby kicked once, hard, as if reacting to her spiking heart rate. "Good evening, everyone," Ashton said, his voice smooth as aged whiskey. That voice that used to whisper promises in the dark. Oh, Harper thought. Please, no. Ashton's smile widened. He gestured to Janelle and the baby she held. "I'd like you all to meet my son, Jackson." The words hit Harper like a physical blow. She staggered backward, her heel catching on the marble floor. Her hand shot out, grasping at a nearby pillar for support. My son, not our son, not a mistake, not an apology, my son. The ballroom erupted in polite applause that sounded like thunder in Harper's ears. She saw phones being raised, cameras flashing. Someone was recording this. The moment her marriage ended was being captured for social media. A board member congratulated Ashton. An investor clapped him on the shoulder. Janelle adjusted the baby's blanket, revealing a tiny, perfect face, and looked directly at Harper. The smile Janelle gave her was small, private, victorious. It said everything without words. I won. You lost. This is my life now. Harper felt heat flooding her face. Humiliation burned through her chest, her throat, her eyes, but no tears came. The shock was too sharp, too sudden, too complete. She took one step toward the exit, then another. Her vision blurred at the edges. That's when she felt it. A warm wetness between her legs. Panic shot through her. Had her water broken? Was this blood? Was the baby okay? She looked down. Just stress, incontinence. Just her body betraying her in front of everyone who mattered in Ashton's world. Harper's knees buckled. She tried to catch herself on the pillar, but her hand slipped. The floor rushed up to meet her. The last thing she heard before darkness swallowed her was Ashton's voice, cold and irritated, cutting through the crowd. Someone get her out of here. She's making a scene. And then nothing. Harper woke to the rhythmic beeping of a heart monitor and the sharp smell of antiseptic. For one blissful moment, she forgot where she was, forgot what had happened. Then memory crashed back like a wave and she gasped. Her hands flew to her belly, still round, still firm. The baby moved under her palm, a reassuring flutter. Easy, Mrs. Hale. You're okay. The baby's okay. A nurse stood beside her chair, adjusting an IV drip. Her name tag read Sandra. She had kind eyes and premature gray streaking her dark hair. You fainted. Dehydration and stress. Your blood pressure spiked, but it's coming down now. Harper tried to sit up. The private hospital room spun slightly. Mount Sinai. She recognized the pale green walls, the expensive medical equipment. Ashton's insurance covered the premium suites. My husband, Harper started, then stopped. The word felt foreign on her tongue now. Is he here? Sandra's expression shifted, sympathy replacing professional detachment. No one's come to see you yet, but you've been out for about 2 hours. 2 hours. Ashton had let her lie unconscious for 2 hours without checking on her, without even calling. Harper reached for her phone on the side table. 37 notifications. She opened them with shaking fingers. None were from Ashton. Instead, she found screenshots from friends, well, people she'd thought were friends. Social media posts from the gala had already gone viral. Photos of Ashton holding the baby, videos of him making the announcement, and in the background of several shots, Harper herself collapsing. The captions were brutal. Ashton Hale introduces his son while wife suffers breakdown at charity gala. Billionaire's pregnant wife faints after husband's shocking announcement. Sources say Harper Hale has been unstable for months. Unstable. That word sat in her chest like a stone. Harper pulled up her text messages and called Ashton. It rang once, twice, 5 times, then voicemail. His smooth professional voice asking her to leave a message. She tried again. Voicemail. A 3rd time. This time the call was declined immediately. Harper's hands trembled as she dialed their penthouse. The line connected. Hello? A woman's voice. Janelle. Harper's breath stopped. Where is Ashton? Oh, Harper. Janelle's voice dripped with false sympathy. Ashton's busy with his son. The baby needs him right now, you understand. The line went dead. Harper stared at her phone. Something shifted inside her then. Not heartbreak. Heartbreak would come later. This was colder, clearer. This was the moment she realized her husband wasn't coming back. This was the moment she realized she'd been playing a rigged game without knowing the rules. But Harper Montgomery had built an entire career on staying calm when everything went wrong, on documenting details when others panicked, on finding solutions when problems seemed impossible. She opened her phone's notes app and started typing. November 15th, 7:43 p.m., fainted at Plaza Hotel Gala. Ashton introduced Janelle Grant's baby as his son. Public announcement. Approximately 200 witnesses. Baby appears to be newborn, 0 to 2 weeks old. Her fingers moved faster. Ashton did not accompany me to hospital. No calls, no texts. Called Penthouse at 9:52 p.m. Janelle answered. She is living in our home. Ashton refused to take my call. Harper scrolled through her text history with Ashton. Screenshot, save. She found the emails he'd accidentally left, save. She documented the bank statements she'd noticed showing unexplained charges. Screenshot, save. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time, Harper's mother used to say. Your gut knew before your heart was ready to accept. Harper had ignored her gut for months. All those late nights at the office. The second phone he thought she didn't know about. The way he'd stopped touching her once she started showing. Not anymore. Sandra returned with a discharge form. Doctor says you can go home, but you need bed rest for at least a week. The stress isn't good for you or the baby. Do you have someone who can stay with you? Harper almost laughed. I'll manage. Mrs. Hale, Sandra hesitated. I probably shouldn't say this, but I saw what happened online. My sister went through something similar. If you need resources, support groups, legal referrals, I can give you some numbers. Harper looked up at the stranger offering more kindness than her own husband. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Sandra scribbled on a notepad and handed it over. One more thing. Document everything, every conversation, every 10, every dollar. Women who prepare win. Women who hope lose. The words struck Harper like a bell. Women who prepare win. She left the hospital at 11 p.m. in an Uber. Her Mercedes was still at the plaza, but she didn't have the energy to retrieve it. The driver tried to make small talk, but Harper stayed silent, staring at the New York City lights blurring past her window. When she arrived at the penthouse building on West 57th Street, the doorman looked uncomfortable. Mrs. Hale, I wasn't sure if you'd be coming back tonight. Why wouldn't I? This is my home. He glanced away. Mr. Hale left instructions. He said you might be confused, that you needed rest. Harper's spine straightened. I'm not confused, Marcus. I'm going upstairs now. She rode the elevator to the 57th floor, her heart pounding. The doors opened directly into their penthouse. Her key still worked. Small mercies. The apartment was dark except for a light in the kitchen. Harper walked through her living room, past the furniture she'd chosen, the art she'd hung, the life she'd built. In the kitchen, she found evidence of Janelle's presence everywhere. A designer diaper bag on the counter, baby formula next to Harper's organic pregnancy tea, a silk robe, definitely not Harper's size, draped over a chair. Harper walked to the master bedroom. The door was locked. She stood there for a long moment, hand on the doorknob. Then she turned and went to the guest room instead. She could fight that battle tomorrow. Right now, she needed to think. Harper sat on the guest bed and opened her laptop. She had kept one secret from Ashton during their marriage, a savings account he didn't know about. Her mother had insisted when Harper got married. Always have running money, her mother had said. I learned that the hard way. Harper checked the balance, $15,000. Not much in Manhattan terms, but enough to hire help. She pulled up Sandra's note and found the number for a private investigator, left a voicemail. Then she opened her contacts and scrolled to a name she hadn't called in 5 years. Elias Blackthorne. They'd worked together once back when Harper was building her event planning career. She'd saved his West Coast product launch after a catastrophic storm knocked out the venue's power. He'd told her then, if you ever need anything, call me. Harper started typing an email, then stopped. Too risky. Ashton might monitor her email. Instead, she pulled out the business card Elias had given her years ago. His private cell phone number was written on the back. She hesitated. Was this too much? Was she overreacting? Then she remembered Ashton's cold voice. Someone get her out of here. She remembered Janelle's smile. I won. Harper sent the text. Elias, this is Harper Montgomery. We worked together on the San Francisco launch 5 years ago. I need legal advice about event contracts. Can we meet? It's urgent. 3 dots appeared immediately, even at midnight. Harper, of course. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. I'll send you an address. Harper exhaled slowly. She wasn't being rescued. She was building a team. There was a difference. She spent the rest of the night documenting everything she could remember. Every conversation, every suspicious charge. Every time Ashton had made her feel crazy for asking questions. By dawn, Harper had 30 pages of notes, a timeline, a strategy. The heartbreak would come later. Right now, she had work to do. Harper met Elias Blackthorne at a quiet coffee shop in Tribeca at 10 a.m. sharp. She'd barely slept, but she'd showered, dressed in real clothes instead of maternity sweats, and pulled her auburn hair into a neat ponytail. If she looked like a woman falling apart, people would treat her like one. Elias stood when she entered. He'd changed in 5 years. More gray in his dark hair now, sharper lines around his eyes. But the same quiet intensity, the same presence that commanded attention without demanding it. Harper. He pulled out a chair for her. Thank you for meeting me. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances. She sat carefully, arranging her belly. You saw? Everyone saw. I'm an investor in Hale Dominion. I was at the gala. His jaw tightened. What Ashton did was unconscionable. Harper pulled out her laptop. I need to understand my legal position. Ashton and I signed a prenuptial agreement, but we also signed contracts when I did event planning work for Hale Dominion. I coordinated 3 major charity galas. I was never paid. He said it was volunteering, supporting the family business. Elias's expression shifted. But you did professional work? Yes, I managed vendors, negotiated contracts, handled logistics, everything I used to do for paying clients. Do you have documentation? Harper opened a folder. Emails, contracts with vendors in her name, receipts. I kept everything, force of habit from my old career. Elias studied the documents and his lawyer's mind clearly working. Harper, these contracts establish you as an independent contractor, not a volunteer. You're owed payment, significant payment. Ashton will fight it. Let him. Elias closed the laptop and looked at her directly. But I don't think this is really about event contracts, is it? Harper's composure cracked slightly. He's trying to take my baby. Explain. She told him everything. The announcement, the hospital, Janelle living in their penthouse, the locked bedroom, Ashton's refusal to talk to her. Elias listened without interrupting. When she finished, he was silent for a long moment. I'm going to be very direct with you, he said finally. Ashton is building a narrative. The public fainting, the locked bedroom, the way he's positioning himself as the concerned husband with an unstable wife. This is a strategy, and it's designed to give him leverage in a custody battle. Harper's blood ran cold. He wouldn't. He's already doing it. Elias pulled out his phone and showed her social media posts. Look about your mental health, about whether you're fit to parent. Harper, build a better case. I know a private investigator, the best in New York. We document everything Ashton's doing. We find out exactly what his relationship with Jashidi is, and we prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. I can't afford the best investigator in New York. Consider it an investment in justice. Elias's expression softened. 5 years ago, you saved a launch that would have destroyed my company's reputation. You refused to take any credit publicly because you said it was just your job. But it wasn't. It was exceptional work under impossible circumstances. Let me return the favor. Harper felt tears threatening. Why? Why help me? Because I know what it's like to be married to someone who makes you feel crazy for trusting your own eyes. Because I have daughters, and I'd want someone to help them if they were in your position. And because Ashton Hale is a fraud, and I'm tired of watching frauds win. Harper wiped her eyes. Okay, what's first? First, we get you somewhere safe. That penthouse isn't your home anymore. It's enemy territory. I don't have anywhere else to go. Yes, you do. Elias wrote an address on a napkin. I own a loft in Soho. It's empty right now. It's yours for as long as you need it. Elias, I can't. Harper. His voice was gentle but firm. You're 7 months pregnant. You fainted yesterday. You're under enormous stress. If you stay in that penthouse, Ashton will use every moment against you. Take the loft. Focus on your health and your baby. Let me handle the rest. Harper wanted to argue, wanted to prove she could do this alone. But the truth was, she couldn't. Not yet. And accepting help wasn't weakness. It was strategy. Okay, she said. Thank you. By that evening, Harper had moved her essentials to the Soho loft. It was beautiful. Exposed brick, tall windows, warm afternoon light, nothing like the cold museum perfection of the penthouse. While Harper unpacked, her new private investigator, a sharp-eyed woman named Diana Chen, was already working. At 8 p.m., Diana called. You were right to hire me, Diana said without preamble. Ashton Hale is sloppy when he thinks he's winning. I've already found some interesting things. Like what? Like bank transfers. $50,000 moved from a Hale Dominion marketing account to Janelle Grant's personal account 6 months ago. Another $30,000 2 months later. All labeled as PR consulting fees, but I can't find any corresponding work product. Harper's mind raced. He was paying her. He was paying her a lot. And there's more. The baby, Jackson. I pulled county birth records. Janelle listed the father as unknown. What? Why would she do that? Either she's not sure who the father is, or she's keeping her options open legally. If Ashton isn't on the birth certificate, he has no automatic paternity rights. That's leverage. Harper felt the pieces shifting. Janelle is playing him. Looks that way. I'm digging deeper. Give me 3 more days. After Diana hung up, Harper sat in her new living room processing. She'd spent the last 12 hours believing she was the only victim in this story. But maybe Ashton and Janelle were playing a game with each other too. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Harper, it's Riley. We need to talk about Ashton, about everything. I know things you need to hear. Can we meet? Harper stared at the message. Riley Moore, her former best friend, the woman who disappeared when Harper's life got complicated, the woman who Harper suspected had tipped off the press about the gala. Harper's first instinct was to delete the message, but then she remembered Diana's words. Information is power. She typed back, tomorrow, noon, send me an address. Maybe it was a trap. Maybe Riley was working with Ashton, but Harper was done being passive. She was done waiting for things to happen to her. If this was war, she was going to fight it on every front. Harper arrived at the Midtown address Riley had sent her at exactly noon the next day. The building was sleek glass and steel, the kind that housed expensive law firms and financial consultancies. The lobby directory listed Wilson and Associates, family law, on the 12th floor. Something cold settled in Harper's stomach. Riley had asked her to meet at a lawyer's office? She almost turned around. But curiosity, or maybe stubbornness, pushed her forward. She rode the elevator up, watching the numbers climb, trying to steady her breathing. The elevator doors opened into a plush reception area. Cream carpet, leather furniture, abstract art that probably cost more than Harper's old car. A receptionist smiled at her. Mrs. Hale, they're expecting you. Conference room B, just down the hall. Harper's pulse jumped. They're expecting you. Plural. She walked down the corridor, her hand instinctively protective on her belly. The baby was quiet today, maybe sensing her tension. Conference room B had frosted glass doors. Through them, Harper could see silhouettes. Multiple people. She opened the door. Ashton sat at the head of a long table, looking like he was chairing a board meeting. Perfectly pressed suit, carefully styled hair, that confident smile that no longer charmed her. Next to him was a man in his 60s with silver hair and the kind of face that made juries trust him. Expensive lawyer. Riley sat across from them, looking uncomfortable, not quite meeting Harper's eyes. And at the far end of the table was another person Harper didn't recognize. A woman in her 50s, sensible blouse, notepad, professional detachment. Harper. Ashton stood. Thank you for coming. I know this seems unusual, but I thought it was time we talked. About your health. About our baby. Harper stayed near the door. Who are these people? This is my attorney, Richard Wilson. You know Riley, of course. And this is Dr. Patricia Vance. She's a psychiatrist. The room tilted. This wasn't a meeting. This was an ambush. I'm leaving, Harper said. Please, Harper, just sit for a few minutes. Ashton's voice was gentle, reasonable, the voice of a concerned husband. We're all worried about you after what happened at the gala, the fainting, the stress, Dr. Vance is here to help. I don't need help. I need my husband to explain why his mistress is living in our home. Dr. Vance spoke up, her voice calm and clinical. Mrs. Hale, hostility and paranoia can be symptoms of prenatal depression. It's very common, nothing to be ashamed of. I'm not paranoid, I'm justifiably angry. Of course you are, Dr. Vance said, making a note. Can you tell me about your feelings when you fainted? Were you experiencing rage, thoughts of harming yourself or others? Harper's mind reeled. Every question was a trap. Every answer would be used against her. I felt betrayed, Harper said slowly, because my husband announced his affair and his child to 200 people without telling me first. Harper, Ashton leaned forward. I understand you're upset, but you're not thinking clearly. You've been under so much stress. Maybe we moved too fast with the pregnancy. Maybe you weren't ready. I was ready. You're the one who isn't ready to be a decent human being. Riley flinched. The lawyer made notes. Dr. Vance asked, do you feel supported by your husband? No. Do you sometimes feel that people are against you? Harper saw where this was going. If she said yes, she was paranoid. If she said no, she was in denial. I feel that this meeting is designed to make me look unstable, Harper said carefully. I feel that I was brought here under false pretenses, and I feel that I should leave now. She moved toward the door. Ashton stood, blocking her path. Harper, wait. We're trying to help, for the baby's sake. Move, Ashton. You need to calm down. I am calm. Move. You're raising your voice. You're getting agitated. This is exactly what we're talking about. Harper realized with crystal clarity what was happening. Every reaction she had would be documented, every emotion twisted. If she stayed calm, she was suppressing. If she got angry, she was unstable. If she cried, she was depressed. She couldn't win this game because the rules were designed for her to lose. Let me out, Harper said quietly. Now. Ashton didn't move. I think you should stay. Dr. Vance can evaluate you properly. We can get you the help you need. That's when Harper heard it, the subtle click of a recording device. She looked at the lawyer's briefcase. A small red light blinked. They were recording this. Every word, every moment. You set me up, Harper whispered. This whole thing, Riley's text, the meeting, you're building a case. Harper, you're being paranoid again, Ashton said gently. For the recording, something snapped, not Harper's composure, her last piece of trust in the system, in fairness, in the idea that truth would protect her. She pulled out her phone and called 911. I need help. I'm at Wilson and Associates, 12th floor, conference room B. I'm 7 months pregnant, and I'm being held against my will by my husband and his lawyer. Ashton's face went red. What are you doing? Harper, hang up. I am Harper Montgomery. My husband, Ashton Hale, is blocking the door. He refuses to let me leave. The 911 operator's voice crackled through. Ma'am, are you in immediate danger? Yes, I want to leave. He won't let me. Ashton stepped aside immediately. Fine, leave. You're proving my point. Harper walked out, still on the phone with the operator. She rode the elevator down, exited the building, walked 3 blocks before she let herself stop. Her hands were shaking so hard she could barely hold the phone. The operator stayed on the line. Ma'am, do you need medical attention? No, I'm okay now, thank you. Harper hung up and leaned against a building, trying to catch her breath. Pedestrians flowed around her, oblivious. Just another pregnant woman having a hard day in New York City. Her phone rang. Elias, where are you? His voice was tight with controlled anger. How did you know? Diana's been tracking Ashton's movements. She saw him enter that building with his lawyer. Harper, what happened? Harper told him. Everything. When she finished, Elias was silent for a beat. Then he said, I'm sending a car. Don't move. We need to file a police report. Now. They'll say I'm overreacting. They might, but we're documenting anyway. From now on, Harper, you don't meet with anyone connected to Ashton without a witness. You don't answer calls without recording them. You don't trust anyone who claims they just want to help. Harper felt exhaustion crushing her. I'm so tired, Elias. I know, but in a rigged system, sometimes you have to play the game to survive at first. Strategic retreat isn't surrender, it's preparation. The car arrived. Harper climbed in, and as they drove toward the police station, she noticed her hands had stopped shaking. She'd walked into a trap, but she'd walked out too. And now she knew exactly what Ashton was planning. That was worth something. The police report took 3 hours. By the time Harper finished giving her statement, she was so drained she could barely stand. The officers had been professional but skeptical. No laws were broken, they explained. No one physically harmed her. It was just a meeting that went bad. Still, the report existed. Documentation, evidence that Ashton had tried to corner her with a psychiatrist. That night, back in the Soho loft, Harper lay in bed and felt the baby doing gymnastics inside her. Active tonight, maybe picking up on her stress. I'm sorry, Harper whispered, hand on her belly. This isn't the life I wanted to give you. But I promise you, I'm fighting. I'm fighting so hard. The next morning, Harper woke to 17 missed calls, all from the same number, the penthouse. She deleted them without listening to the voicemails. Whatever Ashton wanted to say, she didn't need to hear it. Instead, she focused on taking care of herself. She ate breakfast, did the prenatal yoga stretches her doctor recommended, drank water, small victories. At 10 a.m., Deanna called. I have more, Diana said, but you're not going to like it. Just tell me. I found Ashton's other phone, the one you suspected he had. He's careless with his cloud backups. I have text messages going back 6 months. Harper, Janelle isn't the only one. Harper closed her eyes. Of course she isn't. There's another woman, someone named Melissa. Photos from 2 months ago at a hotel in Miami. Ashton paid for everything on the corporate card. Harper felt oddly numb. So he's a serial cheater. That's good for you legally. Pattern of behavior, multiple affairs. And Harper, there's something else. I found an email from Ashton to his brother Dylan. Sent 3 weeks ago, it says, quote, if Harper becomes a problem, we'll handle it quietly. She can't jeopardize the company. The numbness shattered. Handle it? What does that mean? I don't know, but I'm taking it seriously. I think you should consider a restraining order. Harper paced the loft. If I do that, Ashton will claim I'm the unstable one, that I'm overreacting. And if you don't, and something happens? They were both silent. Finally, Diana said, there's one more thing. The psychiatric evaluation from yesterday. Dr. Vance filed a report. How do you know that? I have sources. Harper, she diagnosed you with prenatal depression and paranoid tendencies based on one 20-minute meeting that you walked out of. Rage flashed through Harper. That's not legal. She can't diagnose me without my consent. It's in Ashton's lawyer's files now. They're building exactly what we thought. A case that you're mentally unfit. Harper sat down before her legs gave out. What do I do? You get your own evaluation from a real doctor who isn't on Ashton's payroll. And Harper, you might need to prepare for something worse. What could be worse? Ashton might try for an emergency custody order. If he convinces the judge you're a danger to yourself or the baby, he could get temporary custody the moment the baby is born. Harper's vision blurred. He can't. That's not possible. It's rare, but with the right narrative, the right judge, the right pressure, it's possible. After Diana hung up, Harper sat in silence. This was bigger than she'd understood. This wasn't just about a divorce or custody. This was about Ashton trying to erase her completely, to take her baby and her credibility and her future. She needed more than a private investigator. She needed people who understood what she was up against. That afternoon, Harper did something she'd avoided. She went to a support group for women leaving difficult marriages. It met in a church basement in Chelsea. Fluorescent lights, metal folding chairs, weak coffee in styrofoam cups. 10 women sat in a circle. Different ages, different backgrounds, but the same haunted look in their eyes. The facilitator, a woman named Maria, welcomed Harper. Harper almost said no, but then she looked around the circle and realized these women wouldn't judge her. They'd lived through versions of her story. My husband announced his mistress's baby at a public event while I was 7 months pregnant, Harper said quietly. Now he's trying to prove I'm crazy so he can take my baby when she's born. No one looked shocked. Instead, heads nodded, murmurs of recognition. One woman, older, gray-streaked hair, spoke up. Let me guess, He says he's concerned about you. He says he just wants to help. Yes. And everyone believes him because he is successful and charming. Yes. Welcome to the club, the woman said. Not unkindly. I'm Sophia. My ex did the same thing 15 years ago. Took my kids for 2 years before I got them back. But I did get them back. Harper felt something unlock in her chest. How? I stopped fighting his game and started playing my own. I documented everything, built an army of witnesses, and most importantly, I stopped trying to prove I wasn't crazy. You can't win that game. The system is designed so women lose when they defend themselves. So I stopped defending, started attacking instead. Another woman added, my lawyer told me something that saved my life. She said in family court, the person who looks calmer wins. Even if they're lying, even if they're dangerous. If you look calm and collected and he looks stressed, you win. So I pretended, the first woman continued. I went to therapy, not because I needed it, but so I'd have a professional saying I was fine. I stopped reacting to his provocations. I smiled through his manipulations. And I gathered evidence while he thought he was winning. All victories, survival techniques. These women had walked through fire and come out scarred but standing. When the meeting ended, Sophia pulled Harper aside. You're early in this, Sophia said. You still think the truth will save you. It won't. The truth matters, but presentation matters more. Right now, you need to become the calmest, most rational, most unshakable version of yourself, even if you're dying inside, especially if you're dying inside. I don't know if I can do that. You can because you have to for your baby. Sophia handed Harper a card. This is my lawyer. She's expensive, but she's vicious. Tell her I sent you. Harper took the card. 3 hours ago, she'd been drowning. Now she had a strategy, a path forward. She wasn't alone in this. She'd never been alone. She just hadn't known where to look for her army. Harper spent the next 2 days following Sophia's advice. She scheduled appointments with a prenatal therapist, a maternal fetal medicine specialist, and a family law attorney Sophia had recommended. She documented everything in a detailed journal. She stopped trying to contact Ashton and instead let him reveal himself through his silence. On the third day, Diana called with the bombshell. I know who's really behind this, Dana said. It's not Ashton. I mean, he's complicit, but he's not the architect. It's his mother. Harper felt her blood go cold. Patricia? Patricia Hale. Old money, old values, and she hates you. Harper sat down. She'd met Patricia exactly 4 times. Once at the engagement party where Patricia had given Harper a thin smile and said, how interesting that Ashton chose someone so different. Once at the wedding where Patricia had insisted on approving every detail about Harper's mother being a dental hygienist. And once at Christmas where Patricia had said, I do hope you and Ashton will have children soon. The Hale name deserves proper heirs. Proper heirs. Harper had thought it was just old lady snobbery, but it was more than that. What did you find? Harper asked. Text messages between Patricia and Ashton going back 8 months. Harper, she told him to have an affair. She suggested Janelle specifically because Janelle Ahara's family has money. Old Connecticut money. Patricia said, and I quote, Janelle has breeding. Harper has ambition. The words hit like a slap. Diana continued. Patricia has been orchestrating everything, the affair, the timing, the baby announcement. She even suggested the psychiatric evaluation. There's an email where she says, if Harper becomes difficult, we'll handle her the way we handled your father's first wife. Harper's mind reeled. Ashton's father was married before? Briefly, 28 years ago, a woman named Carolyn. She filed for divorce after 6 months, citing emotional abuse. But there's no record of her after that. No remarriage, no social media, nothing. She just disappeared from public record. What happened to her? I don't know yet, but Patricia's email suggests they made Caroline's life so miserable she fled. No custody, no settlement, nothing. She just vanished. Harper felt sick. They're going to do that to me. They're going to try, but Harper, Caroline didn't have what you have. She didn't have documentation, allies, or evidence. You do. Diana sent over the files. Harper spent the next hour reading through Patricia's text messages. The contempt was stunning. Patricia referred to Harper as the planner girl. She called Harper's pregnancy inconvenient timing. She told Ashton that Janelle's baby would be the real heir and Harper's would be dealt with appropriately. One message made Harper's hands shake. Once Harper signs the postnatal documents, we can move forward with the plan. The child will be raised properly without her influence. Harper called Elias immediately. I need to see you, now. 20 minutes later, Elias arrived at the loft. Harper showed him everything. The text messages, the emails, Patricia's manipulation. Elias read in silence, his expression darkening with each page. This is conspiracy, he said finally. This is a coordinated effort to steal your child. Can we stop it? Yes, but Harper, this changes everything. Patricia Hale has resources we haven't even encountered yet. Lawyers, connections, money. She sits on the boards of 3 major charities. She's personal friends with 2 family court judges. Harper felt the walls closing in. So I can't win. I didn't say that. Elias's voice was sharp. I said it changes everything. We need to be smarter, more careful. We can't fight Patricia head on. We need to outmaneuver her. How? Elias thought for a moment. Patricia's weakness is her arrogance. She thinks she's untouchable. She thinks people like you are beneath her, so she's careless. Those text messages prove it. She documented her own conspiracy. But will anyone care? She's Patricia Hale. That's where public opinion comes in. Patricia cares desperately about reputation, about the family name. If we expose this, she loses the thing she values most. Harper shook her head. If I go public, she'll destroy me. She has the resources. Not if we do it right. Not if we control the narrative. Elias pulled out his phone. I know someone, journalist at the Times. She's done exposés on wealthy families and their corruption. She's not afraid of people like Patricia. Harper wanted to believe it could work, but doubt crept in. Elias, I'm exhausted. I'm 7 months pregnant. I can barely sleep. How am I supposed to fight the entire Hale family? Elias met her eyes. You're not fighting alone. And Harper, you're stronger than you know. You've survived this long. You've documented everything. You've built a case when most women would have given up. Patricia underestimated you. That's her mistake. Harper felt tears threatening but pushed them back. Why are you helping me? Really? Elias was quiet for a moment. Because 10 years ago, I was in a marriage that made me question my own sanity. My ex-wife was brilliant at making me feel like I was the problem, like my perceptions were wrong, like I was too sensitive, too paranoid, too much. It took me 3 years to leave and another 2 to believe I wasn't the villain in our story. I didn't know. I don't talk about it. But when I saw what Ashton did at that gala, I recognized it immediately. And I thought, not again. Not if I can help prevent it. Harper felt something shift. Not romance, not rescue, but kinship, recognition. 2 people who'd seen the same darkness. "Okay," Harper said. "Let's do it. Let's expose them." "Not yet," Elias cautioned. "We need more. We need Patricia to make one more mistake, something undeniable." As if summoned by their conversation, Harper's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Harper, this is Riley. I'm sorry about the ambush. I didn't know what Ashton planned. I need to tell you something. Can we meet? For real this time. Just us." Harper showed Elias the message. It could be another trap, he bet. Or Riley might actually want to help. Harper typed a response. Public place. Tomorrow, noon. You pick the location. I'm bringing someone with me. The response came immediately. Okay, Bryant Park. Near the fountain. And Harper? I'm scared. Be careful. Harper met Riley the next day at Bryant Park with Elias standing at a respectful distance. Close enough to intervene, far enough to give them privacy. The December wind cut through the park, but the afternoon sun made it tolerable. Riley looked different than Harper remembered. Thinner, dark circles under her eyes, her usually perfect blonde hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Thank you for coming, Riley said, not quite meeting Harper's eyes. Talk, Harper said. No warmth, just business. Riley exhaled shakily. I messed up, badly. Ashton approached me 3 months ago. He said you were struggling with the pregnancy, that you'd asked him to find you help. He said he wanted to stage an intervention, and he needed people who cared about you to be there. That's why you were at the meeting. Yes, I thought I was helping. Then I walked in and saw the psychiatrist and realized it was a setup. Harper, I'm so sorry. I should have called you immediately, but Ashton said if I talked to you, I'd make things worse. He said you needed professional help. Harper studied Riley's face, looking for lies. She saw only shame. Why come forward now? Riley's voice dropped. Because yesterday, Janelle called me. She wanted to hire me to write press releases about Ashton, to manage his public image after the divorce. She offered me $30,000. Did you take it? I listened to what she wanted. Harper, it's worse than you know. Janelle isn't Ashton's victim. She's his partner. They've been planning this for almost a year. Harper felt the ground shift. Planning what? Riley pulled out her phone. Janelle sent me these. They're supposed to be talking points for the media, but Harper, read them. Harper took the phone. The document was titled Hale Family Media Strategy, Phase 2. The bullet points made her stomach turn. Position Harper as unstable, danger to child. Highlight Ashton's concern for baby's welfare. Introduce Janelle as supportive family friend. After birth, pursue emergency custody. Long-term goal, full custody, supervised visitation only. There's more, Riley said. Scroll down. Harper scrolled. The next section was titled as the If Harper Fights Back. The tactics listed were brutal, leak medical records, suggest drug use, plant stories about inappropriate behavior, exhaust her financially through litigation. Janelle sent you this? Harper asked. She's arrogant. She thinks I'm on their side because Ashton paid me to tip off the press about the gala. Harper, I did that. I'm the one who made sure photographers were there. I thought I was helping you get sympathy. Instead, I helped humiliate you. Riley started crying. I destroyed our friendship for $5,000 and a promise of freelance work. I'm so sorry. Harper felt a strange calm. Did Janelle say anything else? Riley wiped her eyes. She said Patricia Hale already has a judge lined up, someone who owes the family favors. Janelle said the whole thing is basically decided. They're just going through the motions. Harper's jaw tightened. Did she say which judge? No, but she implied it's someone in Manhattan Family Court. Harper handed back the phone. Send me those files, all of them. And Riley, if you really want to make this right, I need you to testify to everything Janelle told you. She'll destroy me. She's going to destroy both of us if we don't stop her. Harper softened slightly. I'm not saying I forgive you, but I'm saying I understand how they manipulate people. You were a target too. Now you get to choose what happens next. Riley nodded, wiping away tears. I'll send you everything. And Harper, there's something else. Janelle mentioned she has insurance, photos or videos or something. She said if Ashton ever turns on her, she'll ruin him. I don't know what it is, but she has leverage. After Riley left, Elias joined Harper on the bench. Did you get what you needed? He asked. More than that, Riley's going to testify, and Janelle has evidence against Ashton that we can use. How do we get it? Harper thought for a moment. We make Janelle think she's winning. Then we make her doubt Ashton. She'll show her hand. That's risky. Everything about this is risky. Harper stood. But I'm tired of playing defense. It's time to go on offense. That night, Harper composed a careful email to Janelle. She didn't send it from her personal account. She used a burner email Diana had set up. Janelle, this is Harper. I know you have evidence about Ashton. I know you're not as committed to him as he thinks. I also know Patricia is planning to cut you out once she has. If you're smart, you'll protect yourself. I'm not your enemy. Patricia is. Think about it. Harper hit send before she could second-guess herself. 3 hours later, her burner phone rang. Unknown number. Harper? Janelle's voice was shaky. We need to talk. Not on the phone. Can you meet me? When? Tomorrow morning, early. There's a coffee shop on Spring Street. I'll send the address. Come alone. Please. Harper agreed even though every instinct screamed it was a trap. After hanging up, she called Diana. Tomorrow morning, I need you following me. Full surveillance. If something goes wrong, you get evidence. Harper, this is dangerous. I know, but I think Janelle's about to flip. And if she does, we have everything we need. Harper didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed, feeling the baby move, and thought about how life could change so completely in a matter of weeks. A month ago, she'd been a pregnant wife planning a nursery. Now she was coordinating surveillance and building legal cases against her own husband. But she wasn't broken. She was angry. And angry women who knew how to plan were the most dangerous opponents in the world. Tomorrow, one way or another, things would change. Harper arrived at the Spring Street coffee shop at 7 a.m. Diana was already in position across the street. Camera ready. Elias had wanted to come, but Harper refused. This meeting needed to look like two women talking. Nothing more. Janelle was already there, sitting in a back corner. She looked worse than Riley had. Mascara smudged, designer coat wrinkled, the polished facade completely gone. Harper sat down across from her. Talk. They're going to betray me, Janelle said without preamble. Patricia called me last night. She said once the custody issue is resolved, I need to step back, that my presence is no longer helpful to the family image. What did you expect? You're the mistress. They were always going to discard you. Janelle's eyes flashed with anger, then crumpled. I thought Ashton loved me. I thought we'd actually be together. He doesn't love anyone. He uses people. I know that now. Janelle pulled out her phone. I recorded everything. Every conversation with Ashton about you, about the plan, about what they wanted to do after the baby was born. Harper's pulse jumped. Play it. Janelle played a recording. Ashton's voice came through clearly. Once Harper gives birth, we'll file for emergency custody. The psychiatric evaluation gives us grounds. We'll say she's a danger to herself and the baby. The judge is already on board. Patricia handled it. Another voice, Patricia's cold and imperious. And Janelle, after this is handled, you'll need to relocate. We'll provide financial support, but you cannot remain in New York. The association is damaging. Janelle's voice, smaller, uncertain. What about Jackson? Will Ashton see him? Patricia, let's be realistic, dear. Jackson's paternity is questionable. We'll do a DNA test after everything is settled. If he's Ashton's, we'll arrange a visitation. If not, well, that's your concern. The recording ended. Harper felt rage and vindication in equal measure. You recorded Patricia Hale admitting to judicial corruption. I recorded everything. I'm not stupid. I knew they might turn on me. Janelle's hands shook. Harper, I'm scared. Patricia called me 3 times yesterday, each time more threatening. She knows I'm wavering. Give me the recordings, all of them. If I do that, I have nothing left. No protection. If you don't, Patricia will destroy you anyway. At least this way you control when and how. Janelle stared at her phone for a long moment. Then she airdropped the files to Harper's phone. 6 recordings, dozens of text messages. There's one more thing, Janelle said quietly. Jackson isn't Ashton's baby. I was already pregnant when we started the affair. I let Ashton believe he was the father because I needed security. The real father is nobody. A hookup. Nothing. Harper absorbed this. Does Ashton know? Not yet, but Patricia suspects. That's why she's cutting me out. Janelle, why did you do this? Why target me specifically? Janelle's laugh was bitter. Because you had everything I wanted. The marriage, the respect, the position. I thought if I gave Ashton what he wanted, a son, flexibility, no judgment, he'd choose me over you. But I was just a tool. Like you. Like everyone in his life. Harper stood. I need to go. Don't contact Ashton or Patricia. They can't know we talked. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to end this. Harper walked out and met Diana across the street. Tell me you got everything. Diana held up a recording device. Every word. That conversation, plus I filmed Janelle entering and leaving. We have her on record meeting with you, which means she can't later claim it was fabricated. Harper called Elias. I have it. Everything we need. Patricia admitting to corruption. Ashton planning to steal my baby. All of it. Harper, This is extraordinary evidence, but we need to be strategic about when we use it. I'm done being strategic. I'm going public. Today. Harper, wait, Elias, they have a judge lined up. They're going to take my baby the moment she's born. I have maybe 4 weeks before that happens. We go public now or we lose. Elias was silent for a beat. Okay, I'll set it up. Press conference, 2 p.m. today, my office building. I'll contact that Times journalist. Harper, once you do this, there's no going back. I'm already past the point of no return. By 2 p.m., Harper stood in front of 15 reporters in a sleek conference room at Elias's building. Diana had prepared printed packets of evidence. Audio files were queued up. Harper had changed into a simple blue dress, minimal makeup, her auburn hair pulled back. She looked like exactly what she was, a pregnant woman fighting for her child. Elias stood beside her, and to Harper's surprise, Riley and Sophia from the support group sat in the front row. Her small army. Harper stepped up to the microphone. My name is Harper Montgomery. 3 weeks ago, my husband Ashton Hale announced his affair and his mistress's child at a public charity gala. Today, I'm here to tell you the rest of the story. She played the recordings. She showed the text messages. She explained Patricia's manipulation, the psychiatric trap, the plan to steal her baby. The journalist scribbled frantically. Cameras flashed. Questions erupted. Harper answered each one calmly, factually, without emotion, just like Sophia had taught her. The calmer person wins. When she finished, she made one final statement. I'm not here for sympathy. I'm not here for revenge. I'm here because wealthy, powerful people believe they can manipulate the legal system to steal children from mothers they deem unworthy. I'm here because this happens to women every day, but they don't have the resources to fight back. I'm here because someone has to say enough. The press conference ended. Harper walked out, and her phone immediately exploded with notifications. The story was already going viral. But Harper didn't check social media. She went back to the loft, put her feet up, and waited. 2 hours later, Ashton called. Harper let it go to voicemail. He called 4 more times. She ignored each one. Finally, a text. You just destroyed our family. I hope you're happy. Harper replied with just 3 words. No, you did. That night, the story was on every major news outlet. Pregnant woman exposes husband's plan to steal baby, dominated headlines. Diana called with updates. Patricia Hale's attorney released a statement denying everything. But get this, 2 other women have come forward saying Patricia did similar things to them. Daughters-in-law who were pushed out. This is bigger than just you. Harper felt a grim satisfaction. She'd gone on offense and it was working. But at midnight, her satisfaction turned to fear. She woke to severe cramping, sharp, regular, painful. She called her doctor, who said, "Get to the hospital. Now, ma'am." At Mount Sinai, the OB examined her and delivered the devastating news. You're in early labor. The stress has triggered premature contractions. We're at 33 weeks. We need to stop this, or you'll deliver too early. Harper lay in the hospital bed, monitors beeping around her, and thought, this is what they wanted. They wanted to stress me into complications. And it worked. But her baby wasn't coming today. Not if Harper had anything to say about it. She'd fought too hard to lose now. Harper spent 4 days in the hospital on bed rest and medication to stop the contractions. The doctors managed to stabilize her, but the situation was precarious. Her blood pressure remained high. The baby showed signs of stress. Every day was a gamble. Elias visited daily, bringing food and updates. The press coverage had exploded. Patricia Hale was now under investigation for judicial tampering. 3 more women had come forward with stories of the Hale family weaponizing the legal system. Ashton had been suspended from his position at Hale Dominion, pending an internal review. You're winning, Elias told her on day 3. It doesn't feel like winning, Harper said, exhausted. It feels like surviving. On day 5, Diana brought unexpected news. The judge Patricia had lined up recused himself. The case will be assigned to someone else randomly. You have a chance now. But Harper's relief was short-lived. That night at 2 a.m. beige, her water broke. For real this time. The labor was fast and brutal. Harper had planned for a calm, controlled delivery. Instead, she got chaos, alarms beeping, doctors rushing. The baby was coming 5 weeks early, and there were complications. Through the pain and fear, Harper held on to one thought. My baby will be okay. We will both be okay. At 4:37 a.m., Harper's daughter was born. 5 pounds, 3 ounces, tiny but fighting. They placed her on Harper's chest for 30 seconds, skin to skin, mother and daughter, before whisking her away to the NICU. She's breathing on her own, the doctor said. Good APGAR scores. She just needs monitoring. Harper collapsed back against the pillows, tears streaming down her face. Relief, terror, exhaustion. All of it at once. An hour later, as Harper was being moved to recovery, a nurse approached her cautiously. Mrs. Montgomery, your husband is here. He's demanding to see you and the baby. Harper's jaw tightened. Tell him no. He has no rights to see either of us until a court says otherwise. He's being very insistent. Call security if you need to. He doesn't come near us. 20 minutes later, Elias arrived with Harper's new attorney, a sharp woman named Grace Kim, who Sophia had recommended. Ashton tried to push his way into the NICU, Grace said. Hospital security removed him. He's threatening legal action. We need to file for emergency custody protection immediately. Do it, Harper said. Grace pulled out paperwork. I need you to sign these. Emergency order of protection. Petition for full custody. And Harper, there's something else. Patricia Hale was arrested this morning. Harper's eyes widened. What? Judicial corruption. The investigation moved fast. She tried to bribe a court clerk. They got her on recording. She's being held pending bail hearing. Harper felt something crack open in her chest. Patricia Hale, arrested. The woman who'd orchestrated everything, who'd thought she was untouchable, was now in handcuffs. And Ashton, Harper asked? Under investigation for embezzlement and fraud. The company found discrepancies in multiple accounts. He's suspended and facing criminal charges. Harper closed her eyes. It was over. Not just one. Over. Later that day, they wheeled Harper to the NICU to see her daughter. She was so small in the incubator, wires and monitors attached to her tiny body. But she was breathing, fighting, perfect. She's strong, the NICU nurse said, like her mother. Harper placed her hand on the incubator's bow as close as she could get. You're going to be okay, baby girl. We both are. I promise. The next week blurred. Hospital days, legal meetings, visits to the NICU. Harper barely slept, running on adrenaline and determination. Diana kept her updated on the fallout. Ashton had been arrested. Patricia made bail but was under house arrest. Janelle had relocated to California with her son. Riley published a confessional piece about how she'd been manipulated. And through it all, Harper healed. Slowly, painfully, but she healed. 3 weeks after the birth, Harper's daughter was cleared to go home. 5 pounds, 12 ounces now, healthy, thriving. Harper named her Grace, after her lawyer, yes, but also because Grace was what she'd needed to survive this. Grace under pressure, grace in darkness, the grace to forgive herself for not seeing the truth sooner. The park near Harper's apartment was quiet on Tuesday mornings, mostly nannies and stay-at-home parents, pushing strollers and chatting on benches. Harper sat on her favorite spot, watching Grace sleep in her stroller. 6 months old now, and perfect. Harper had rebuilt her life piece by piece. The Soho loft became permanent once Elias sold it to her at a fraction of market value. Her event planning business was slowly coming back, smaller clients at first, but growing. She'd hired an assistant, a young woman fresh out of college, who reminded Harper of herself a decade ago. The divorce was finalized. Harper got full custody. Ashton got supervised visitation rights, which he'd used exactly twice. Apparently, fatherhood wasn't as appealing when it came with actual responsibility. Patricia had been convicted of corruption and served 6 months, which in wealthy person terms meant house arrest in her Connecticut estate. She'd sent Harper a letter last month. Not an apology, just a cold statement that she'd acted in the family's best interest. Harper threw it away without responding. Janelle sent a message through lawyers asking if she and Harper could talk someday. Harper wasn't ready for that yet. Maybe someday, maybe not. Riley had apologized properly, multiple times. Harper had accepted the apology but kept her distance. Some friendships couldn't be repaired. That was okay. Harper? She turned. Riley stood there looking uncertain, a coffee in each hand. I saw you from across the park, Riley said. I brought you a latte, your usual, if you want it. Harper took the coffee. Thanks. Riley gestured to the bench. Can I sit, just for a minute? Harper nodded. Riley sat, keeping a respectful distance. Grace is beautiful, Riley said, looking at the sleeping baby. She is. They sat in awkward silence. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Riley finally said. I just wanted you to know I'm in therapy, actually dealing with why I did what I did. The desperation, the jealousy, all of it. I'm glad, Harper said, and she meant it. Are you okay? Really? Harper considered the question. 6 months ago, she would have said no. 3 months ago, maybe, but now? I'm getting there, Harper said. Some days are hard, most days are okay. A few days are actually good. Riley nodded. That's progress. It is. Harper looked at Grace, her daughter, her reason for fighting. I don't have the life I planned, but I have a life, and it's mine. That's enough. Riley stood to leave. If you ever want to talk, even just to yell at me, I'm here. After Riley walked away, Harper sat with her daughter and thought about the woman she'd been 6 months ago. Desperate, scared, broken. That woman was gone. In her place was someone harder, wiser, scarred, but standing. Harper's phone buzzed, a text from Elias. Dinner this weekend? My treat, no pressure, just two friends celebrating survival. Harper smiled and typed back, yes, but I'm paying, I insist. Another text came through, this one from Diana. New client referral, woman in similar situation to yours, wants to know if you'd be willing to talk to Grace, sleeping peacefully. She thought about Sophia and the support group, about how those women had saved her by sharing their stories. She typed back to Diana, yes, give her my number. I'll help however I can. Because that's what survivors did. They survived. And then they reached back to help others still fighting. Harper stood and pushed the stroller toward home. The autumn sun was warm on her face. Grace stirred but didn't wake. And Harper felt something she hadn't felt in a very long time. Peace, not happiness. Not yet, that would come. But peace, the knowledge that she'd fought and won, that she'd protected her daughter, that she'd stood up to people who thought they could crush her and prove them wrong. Revenge isn't about destroying them, Harper thought. It's about rebuilding yourself so well that their betrayal becomes irrelevant. The best comeback is a life they can't touch. And as Harper walked home with her daughter, she knew that was exactly what she'd achieved.